Welcome to your favorite channel, where you'll learn everything you need to know to improve your health and lifestyle. Let's get started.
Welcome! Today, we're going to tackle one of the most powerful tools you have for aging with real strength and vitality, and that's protein. We're going to break down exactly how you can use it to stay active, independent, and honestly, just feeling your absolute best for years to come. So, let's start with a big question. Are your muscles aging faster than you are? This gets right to the heart of it, you know? This isn't about looking good in the mirror. It's about function. It's about your ability to live the life you actually want to live. So today, we're going to lay out a clear, science-backed plan to make sure your muscles stay just as strong and capable as you feel inside. All right, here's our game plan. First, we're going to define the challenge we're up against. It's a condition called sarcopenia. Then we'll get into why it happens, which is super interesting. And after that, we're diving straight into the powerful, actionable solutions. How much protein you need, when to eat it, the best sources, and of course, its absolutely essential partner, exercise. First up, let's put a name to this thing we're all facing. It's called sarcopenia. And yeah, it might sound a little technical, but I promise you it's a concept that is so critical for all of us to understand as we get older. Okay, so what is it? Put simply, sarcopenia is age-related muscle loss. But you gotta look closely at that definition. It includes not just mass, but also strength and function. That is a huge distinction. You can actually lose your strength way faster than you lose muscle size. And that strength loss is what really hits your day-to-day life. And the rate of this decline, well, it's pretty alarming. After you hit 50, you can lose about 1% of your muscle mass every single year. But get this, the loss of your actual strength and your power can happen even faster than that. This isn't some tiny little dip. It's a steady, relentless decline that really adds up over a decade. And look, this isn't some abstract medical issue. It has these profound, real-world consequences. We're talking about a much higher risk of life-altering falls and fractures. We're talking about losing the independence to do simple things like carrying your own groceries or playing with your grandkids. It means a slower metabolism and just a general loss of stability. Fighting sarcopenia really is about fighting for your quality of life. So the big question is, why does this happen? Well, a key reason is this phenomenon called anabolic resistance. It sounds super complex, I know, but the idea behind it is actually very simple. This right here is the core of the problem. A meal that would have easily kicked off muscle growth when you were in your 20s just has a much smaller effect when you're in your 60s. It's almost like your muscles have become a little bit hard of hearing to that time to build signal that protein is trying to send. And this really shows you the challenge, right? But here's the great news, and this is so important. It's not that your body can't build muscle anymore. It absolutely can. It just needs a louder, clearer signal. And that stronger signal comes from a larger dose of protein in a single meal to overcome this resistance and flip that muscle building switch back to on. Okay, so if we need a stronger stimulus, the obvious question is, how much stronger? What's the magic number? How much protein does it take to get that muscle building engine firing on all cylinders again? Well, the research here is remarkably consistent. Study after study points to this target, approximately 30 grams of high-quality protein in a single meal. This amount seems to be the sweet spot needed to maximally stimulate muscle protein synthesis, which is just the sciencey term for building muscle. Any less than this, and the response is pretty weak. And funnily enough, any more doesn't seem to provide much of an extra benefit. 30 grams is the target. But hitting that 30-gram target is only half the solution. The timing of your protein intake throughout the day is just as critical. And honestly, this is where so many of us can make a massive improvement. Okay, so on the left is a super common eating pattern, right? A tiny bit of protein for breakfast, maybe some yogurt or toast, a little more at lunch, and then this huge steak or piece of chicken for dinner. The problem? That breakfast and lunch meal, they don't even come close to that 30-gram muscle building threshold. And then at dinner, while you hit the target, a lot of that excess protein just gets burned for energy instead of being used to build muscle. Now compare that to the optimal pattern on the right. Boom, boom, boom. Hitting that 30-gram target at every single meal. And this is the incredible payoff. One landmark study found that when people ate the exact same total amount of protein for the day, the group that spread it out evenly had a 25% higher rate of muscle building over 24 hours. I mean, just think about that for a second. No extra food, no extra calories. Simply by changing when they ate their protein, they got a massive 25% boost in muscle building. That's a game changer. Okay, so we know we need about 30 grams 3 times a day. But does it matter where that protein comes from? Let's dive into the whole animal versus plant protein debate, because this one comes up all the time. You know, when it comes to building muscle, it turns out one specific amino acid is the undisputed MVP, and its name is leucine. You can think of leucine as the key that turns the ignition on your muscle-building engine. If you don't have enough of it in a meal, that engine never really roars to life. The target you want to shoot for is about 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine per meal. So knowing how to get that leucine is everything. This little cheat sheet gives you a really practical guide. As you can see, animal proteins like whey and chicken are super leucine dense. A smaller serving gets you to that target, no problem. Now, among plants, soy protein is a fantastic source. But for other whole food plant sources like lentils or tofu, the sheer volume you need to eat to hit that leucine trigger is significantly larger. It's definitely possible, don't get me wrong, but it takes a lot more careful planning. And this brings us to a really important point. From a huge analysis of different studies, researchers found that high-quality soy protein was just as effective as milk protein for building muscle. It absolutely holds its own. But other common plant proteins like rice, pea, and oat, well, they showed a less powerful effect. So if you're relying on plant-based sources, making high-quality soy a priority is a really smart, evidence-based move. All right, we've covered the what, when, and which of protein, but there was one more piece of this puzzle that is completely 100% non-negotiable if you actually want to see results, and that is resistance training. I love this analogy because it just captures the synergy perfectly. You can eat all the protein in the world, giving your body mountains of bricks. But without resistance training, you never give your body the construction order. You never give it the blueprint telling it to pick up those bricks and build a stronger structure. The exercise is the signal that literally screams, hey, we need to get strong. And getting started does not need to be intimidating at all. The evidence points to a really simple, effective blueprint. Just aim for 2 to 3 sessions a week. Make sure you're actually challenging your muscles. It should feel tough by those last few reps. And focus on those big bang-for-your-buck movements like squats, rows, and presses that work a ton of muscle all at once. So let's bring it all home with your 4-step action plan. Number 1, aim for that 30-gram protein target at each meal. 2, spread that protein out evenly across breakfast, lunch, and dinner. 3, prioritize protein sources that are packed with leucine. And 4, the final key, combine this powerful eating strategy with resistance training 2 to 3 times a week. And I really want to leave you with this thought. For way too long, we've just been told that losing strength is an unavoidable, inevitable part of getting older. Well, the science is now crystal clear. It's not. It is a condition that we can actively influence, we can manage it, and we can even overcome it with the right tools. The power to stay strong is truly in your hands.
Here are some tips to help you have a healthy and strong body and mind. Remember that we upload videos every day.
Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to build a blueprint, a real practical guide for living a longer and, more importantly, a healthier life. And we're not going to talk about crazy futuristic theories. Instead, we're looking at what actually works, based on the communities around the world that are already getting it right and the science that proves why. So let's dive right in. Let's start with the most important question, right? Because that's the real goal. It's not just about hitting 100 on the calendar. It's about how you show up to that age. Are you strong? Are you sharp? Are you still full of energy and joy? This entire conversation is about shifting our focus from just lifespan to something way more meaningful. And that brings us to this key idea, health span. This is the word we need to be obsessed with. It's all about the quality of your years. Think of it as how many years you get to feel amazing, capable, and free. That's the mission we're on today, stretching out that health span for as long as we possibly can. So where do we look for the answers? Well, it turns out they're not in a lab or a pharmacy. They're in these 5 incredible places: Okinawa in Japan, Sardinia in Italy, the Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica, Ikaria in Greece, and, believe it or not, Loma Linda, California. These are the blue zones, real-world places where people are living these incredibly long, healthy lives, and they're doing it naturally. Now, here's what's so empowering about all this. For the longest time, we kind of thought, oh, living a long life, it's all in your genes. But the research from the blue zones completely flips that idea on its head. It turns out only about 20% of how long you live is determined by your genetics. The other 80%, that's a lifestyle. That's your environment. That's stuff you have a huge amount of control over. All right, let's get into the first pillar of our blueprint. This is the foundation, right? It's about the two things we do every single day without fail: how we move our bodies and what we decide to eat. Get these right, and you're building an incredible base for a long health span. So here's a surprise. The longest-lived people on the planet don't exercise, not in the way we think about it. You're not going to find them in a CrossFit box or training for marathons. Instead, their lives are just designed to make them move naturally. They walk everywhere, they garden, they do chores by hand. It's this unconscious, consistent, low-level movement all day long. And this quote from Dan Buettner, the guy who really put blue zones on the map, just nails it. This constant, gentle movement keeps their metabolism humming all day. It's such a different approach from our modern life, where we sit for 8 hours straight and then try to cram all our activity into one brutal hour at the gym. Okay, let's talk about food. When you dig into what all these centenarians are eating, this one pattern just screams out at you. They call it a plant slant. And it's exactly what it sounds like. About 95% of their diet comes from plants. Now, meat isn't totally off the table, but it's more like a special occasion thing. You know, something you'd have maybe a few times a month and in small portions. So what are the stars of the show? Well, it's super simple: whole foods. And if there is one single superhero food in all the blue zones, it's beans. Fava beans, black beans, lentils, you name it. They're eating about a full cup every single day. Add in a handful of nuts, plenty of whole grains, and tons of fresh vegetables, and that's pretty much the magic formula. But you know what? How they eat is just as important as what they eat. In Okinawa, they have this 2,500-year-old saying they repeat before every meal: hara hachibu. It's just a little reminder to stop eating when your stomach feels about 80% full. It sounds so simple, but that little 20% gap is often the difference between staying lean and gaining weight over time. Okay, let's shift gears to our second pillar. This one goes deeper than just the physical stuff. We're talking about the powerful forces inside of us that are just as critical for longevity. Things like our purpose, our mindset, and how we deal with the inevitable stress of life. In Okinawa, they have this beautiful word for it: ikigai. In Costa Rica, they call it plan de vida. But whatever you call it, the idea is the same across all blue zones. You need a clear sense of purpose. You need to know why you get out of bed in the morning. And this isn't just some fluffy, feel-good idea. It's a biological necessity for a long, healthy life. So just how powerful is it? Well, the research shows that having a strong sense of purpose is linked to as many as 7 extra years of life expectancy. 7 years! That's incredible. It protects your brain, it keeps you engaged, and it gives you a reason to keep going. So how do you find your ikigai? Well, it's often found right in the middle of these 4 questions. Finding that sweet spot where your passion, your skills, what the world needs, and yeah, what you can get paid for, all come together. That's the key to a life that feels meaningful and, as it turns out, a much longer one. Look, everybody on the planet experiences stress, even people in the blue zones. The huge difference is that they have these built-in daily routines to let it all go. Okinawans take a moment each day to remember their ancestors. Ikarians take a nap. Sardinians have happy hour with their friends. These aren't seen as little luxuries. They are essential daily health practices. And here's why that matters on a deep biological level. Okay, stick with me for a second. Think of your DNA like shoelaces. Telomeres are the little plastic tips on the ends that keep them from fraying. Well, chronic stress creates inflammation, and that inflammation literally chews away at those plastic tips, making them shorter and shorter, which is how we age on a cellular level. So those daily stress-busting rituals, they're actually protecting your DNA. How cool is that? All right, on to our final pillar, and it's one we so often overlook. We're talking about the incredible power of sleep. This isn't just downtime. It's one of the most active, restorative, and critical processes for our health and longevity. We spend a third of our lives doing it, but have you ever stopped to wonder what is actually going on in your brain when you're asleep? For a long time, it was kind of a mystery, but new science has uncovered this amazing process that is absolutely essential for keeping our brains healthy for the long haul. Get this, during your deepest sleep, your brain turns on this incredible waste clearance system. You can think of it like a nightly dishwasher. Your brain cells actually shrink a little, which opens up space for this fluid to rush in and wash away all the metabolic junk that builds up during the day. And this includes nasty stuff like beta amyloid, which is the protein linked to Alzheimer's. So if you're not getting enough deep sleep, you're not letting your brain run its full cleaning cycle. And this whole system is controlled by a really simple switch: light. Our bodies run on this 24-hour clock, and light is the master controller. Bright light in the morning tells your brain, hey, time to wake up, and it releases cortisol. Darkness tells your brain, okay, time to rest and repair, and it releases melatonin. The takeaway is so simple. Get sun in the morning and make it dark at night. Okay, so we've covered the 3 big pillars: move and eat, master your inner world, and the power of deep rest. Now let's put all these pieces together. Let's turn all this amazing knowledge into a real, actionable plan that you can use to start designing your own future healthier self. And here it is. This is your cheat sheet. Dan Buettner's team took all their research and boiled it down to these 9 core principles they found in every single blue zone. They call it the Power 9. And it covers everything from your diet and your movement to your purpose and your social life. It's not about being perfect at one thing, it's about building a whole lifestyle where all these healthy habits support each other. I want to finish with maybe the most powerful idea of all. It's a concept called the Centenarian Decathlon, and it's a total reframing of why we stay active. Forget training for a 5K next month. The real goal is to be training for the last decade of your life. You're training today so that you can be strong, stable, and independent when you're 95. So I'll leave you with this challenge. This is how you start building your own blueprint. I want you to make a list. What are the 10 or 15 physical things you absolutely want to be able to do in your 90s? Do you want to lift your great-grandchild? Do you want to be able to carry your own groceries into the house? Travel? Whatever it is, write it down. That is your personal Centenarian Decathlon, and the training for it starts right now.
If you found this video helpful, please subscribe and help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers so I can bring you better content. See you tomorrow with a new video.